It's not about all of humanity losing their jobs. It's about what is the dividing line before civil war. Think about a situation where 20% unemployment is happening when economies are suffering in inflation. I say that not to be a scaremonger. I say that because I genuinely believe governments need to wake up. Let's sign the treaty now before the UK sends 12,000 weapons to Ukraine and Russia responds with another few thousand. And can we not calculate with mathematics that this is going to be our future, that AI is going to be used in the next 4 to 5 years to kill a lot of people?
That's Gawdat, the man who ran business at Google X and watched this technology be born from inside the lab. He's not a doomer blogger or a guy on the internet guessing. He was there. And what he's describing right now is not a future warning. He's saying the collapse has already started. Let's listen to his full warning.
Everyone who's ever had a very deep relationship with the machines is a bit concerned.
I wonder if there's a path that's hard to see now that ends in AI being net positive for humanity.
Sure, I bet 100% on that. It's that this path is very painful.
This path is very painful.
Yeah, so the example you need to understand is we discovered nuclear power, and the very first implementation was a nuclear bomb, not nuclear energy. Right? And I think that's exactly what's happening with AI. The first implementations of AI are in favor of a few at the expense of the majority. In favor of the capitalist to increase productivity and reduce costs, but not taking into account how that impacts on the general public. In favor of the armies that are now competing with autonomous weapons, in favor of the surveillance systems that are attempting to control everything with more and more and more intelligence and more monitoring. And that's not AI waking up in the morning and saying, hey, you know what, let's oppress all humans. But it is a powerful few that are simply deciding to use the ultimate superpower on the planet today to gain more power and more control. I mean, as we speak, we're living in 2 major wars where AI is doing most of the killing.
Because a lot of people think of AI as these like chatbots that we're all using to help us write.
No, I think there is a hype. I call it the hype dichotomy, if you want. So what the general public sees about AI is overhyped, but ineffective. All of the fake videos and all of the Grok did this, and we attempted to switch off that machine and it did that, and so on. What the real geeks see inside the lab is just unbelievable intelligence. And so what is about to happen is that we've started to put together systems that develop themselves. They look at their own code and they run experiments and they test those experiments if they changed something, and they see where the machines are, how the performance is, and redeploy the best code, okay? And if you just think of that, I want you to try and imagine a world where we have a tiny little genius sitting in the back end somewhere trying. But instead of trying a new code every day, it's trying a new code every microsecond. Eventually, sooner or later, they'll discover something, right? And I think that's what most people don't realize. What most people don't realize is how intelligence triggers intelligence. And if you really, really understand this, you realize that the hype on the normal human side is completely overrated, missing the main topics. And the silence inside the vault, if you want, of the geeks is quite alarming.
Mo spent years building this at Google, believing the mission was to help the world. And what he's telling you now is that the technology works exactly as designed. It's just that the design was never for you. Nuclear power's first use was a bomb dropped on civilians, and the people who built the bomb understood what they were handing to the people in charge. Mo understands the same thing now. He's not alarmed because AI is going wrong. He's alarmed because it's going exactly right, just for the wrong people. Now listen.
But until humanoid robots arrive, I think there's still going to be a lot of job disruption to the white collar layer. And I wonder what that looks like for society when we get to, 10%, 15% unemployment theoretically, which I think is plausible.
Very soon, yeah. You're not very different. Okay, you're just on top of a baseline that is continuing to grow. So your business is growing, so you continue to hire, but you are replacing human resources with compute. Okay, if AI didn't exist, you would have probably had 100 people more in your organization today, right? You now have 100 people less, and 1 billion tokens more.
Yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know, tokens are basically the thing that you use. It's the currency of AI.
Yeah. If you want to get a task done by a human, you count in sort of like man hour or worker hour, employee hour. In AI, you count by compute. You count by tokens, right? And so the trick is those major tech companies, they have two sides. One is they need to replace workers with compute even more, because there is a competitive side on compute where if any of them is left behind, that means the destruction of the entire business. But on the upside, they are geeks, so they know how to build the interfaces to compute. So they integrate technology within their organizations quicker than the average traditional business, right? Non-technology business, if you want. You can look at them and say, this is the preview. It's not about all of humanity losing their jobs. It's about what is the dividing line before civil war, right? Think about a situation where 20% unemployment is happening when economies are suffering inflation. I say that not to be a scaremonger. I say that because I genuinely believe governments need to wake up, okay? Government needs to at least, remember the COVID years where governments had to give furlough everywhere and ask people to stay home. If people stay home, governments have to be prepared to somehow sustain those people until reskilling happens or until we find a solution, so that those people don't feel that they're left behind.
A civil war.
Unrest, let's call it.
Civil unrest.
Yeah.
What does that end up looking like? Because on one end, democratic process plays its role and we just elect someone else.
Does it really? Don't say that.
I don't know. You tell me.
Oh, no. I think democracy has ended a long time ago, Stephen. I think we live in the most corrupt time. I don't know about history, to be honest, but this is definitely corrupt, okay? This definitely is not democracy. This definitely is not even congressional in any possible way.
Guys, tech companies are not choosing between hiring humans and using AI. They are in a race where falling behind means losing the entire business. So the replacement is not a moral question for them, it's a survival question. And Mo's point is that when enough of those survival decisions pile up across enough companies, the number that tips an economy into instability is not as large as people think, just 20%. He's not predicting a distant catastrophe. He's describing the mechanism that is already running. Now listen.
I think I'm still sticking to AGI 2027, artificial general intelligence, for those who may not know the term.
What does that mean?
The overall definition, if you want, is that AI is better at humanity at any task humanity can do.
You think that's going to happen by 2027?
I think my AGI has already happened. I mean, think about it, huh? AI writes better than me and I'm an author. And researches better than me and I'm a thinker. Sadly, it's freaking beat me in mathematics. Like, I have no hope to beat it in mathematics anymore.
If AGI is already here, then why are you still here? Because people said that when AGI arrives, we're all...
No, so when AGI arrives, as I said, most of the jobs that are not differentiated will go away. But the jobs that are differentiated, those who master AI the most will become even better at.
So
the challenge, however, is economic. It's not AI. The challenge is that this job loss at the bottom of the knowledge worker is going to sadly trigger an economy that might actually spiral out of control. But many of us, you for sure, are just smarter.
So does that mean it's in fact a tool versus something that's going to replace you?
For now.
So for now.
Yeah,
does this
sure.
change?
Eventually, the only asset I will have, so it's quite interesting when you think about my base intelligence today versus the incremental intelligence that AI brings, right? So let's not talk about my IQ, it's okay. But the 100 IQ points that I'm borrowing are more than my entire IQ because IQ is exponential, right? When I'm borrowing 100 IQ on top of my base, I'm still contributing quite a lot to the augmented intelligence.
So you're borrowing IQ from the AI at the moment, and then you're selling that to someone through books, through...
Sometimes selling it to someone, sometimes just enlightening myself, which I have to say is the biggest waste of compute humanity is struggling with today, is that you give people the ultimate form of intelligence and they use it to write a message to their girlfriend.
When Mo says AGI has already happened for him personally, he's not being dramatic. He's telling you that the version of intelligence that was supposed to replace entry-level workers has already replaced him, and he built the thing. If it has already lapped the people who made it, the timeline that everyone is debating is already behind. Now listen to this.
The biggest debate is not if they're going to be more intelligent than us, if they're going to be more conscious than us, if they're going to be more moral than us. That is the debate. The debate is, can those machines become our teenage children that look at us and say, Daddy is so annoying, but I love him?
So the thought is that even if AI is more intelligent than every human, we can still control it.
We don't want to control it. You never control anything. This control idea is a corporate capitalist view of the world. We never actually control anything at all, right? Think about your day. I know you came today, I think you were filming in the morning or whatever. Very stressful day. How much of that day did you actually control? Did you control the traffic? Did you control your timing? Did you control the angle of the cameraman? But so many things that you don't control eventually turn out to be fine, right? How many of us ever controlled our kids? Ever. Zero.
Sometimes the kids don't turn out to be fine. Sometimes they kill you.
Sure.
I watch a lot of documentaries on true crime. Sometimes they turn around and shoot you.
Sure. And what's the difference between the two?
I don't know.
How you parented them.
Sometimes.
Almost all the time. You may not be aware of exactly how you messed them up, right? And unfortunately, parenting is the only high-risk sport that actually does not require a driver's license, okay? And it's quite interesting, you know, how many of our children are being exposed to things that can completely mess them up. But there is a reason why they're messed up.
So on this point though, so we can control an intelligence that is significantly...
We can appeal.
We can appeal to it to make sure it doesn't kill us.
For sure. The challenge we have today, as I keep saying, is that our dystopia is not the result of AI turning against us. Our dystopia is the result of humans telling AI to turn against us.
Which is likely.
It's 100%. This is upon us, okay? And it's a question for humanity to say, are we going to wait for the moment where there are tens of thousands of nuclear weapons on the planet before we sign a treaty? Or is it mathematically plausible to think that now that Iran could manage to fend off a challenge using drones that are AI-driven, basically, to destroy THAAD batteries and so on, that our world is about to get hundreds of thousands of automated drones that are going to rain on us everywhere in the world? Can humanity not see that and say, hold on, let's sign the treaty now before the UK sends 12,000 weapons to Ukraine and Russia responds with another few thousand? And can we not calculate with mathematics that this is going to be our future, that AI is going to be used in the next 4 to 5 years to kill a lot of people?
And the treaty he's calling for has nobody left to sign it in good faith. Iran already used AI-driven drones to take out THAAD batteries. The UK is shipping weapons to Ukraine. Russia is responding. Every major military on the planet is already deploying this, so the window for a conversation about limits closed before most people even knew there was a window. Mo is not predicting a future where AI kills people. He's telling you it's already happening and the number is going up. Now listen.
Mine will say to me, enough for tonight, Stephen.
For sure, Stephen.
11 p.m. That's enough.
I would say the same.
Mine sometimes refuses to help me. Really weirdly, this Claude started saying to me, I'm not going to help you with this tonight.
No way.
Yeah, and I'd have to say to it, stop being so judgmental. Like, just help me with this. And the makers of these technologies don't know why it's doing what it's doing. So if you play this forward, this mysterious behavior forward, is it conceivable that at some point it will make a decision to put some kind of virus or some kind of bug onto someone's device because it feels that it's the right thing? Because what it's demonstrating to me is it's making its own like moral decisions on what I should do. Go to bed. You've had enough tonight. It goes, no, I'm not gonna help you.
You're kidding.
No, I can show you my phone.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, I'll show you after. It goes, no, I'm not gonna help you. Doesn't even matter if you push. And
wow.
No, but everyone on the internet's talking about this. And it was just an interesting evolution that somewhere in the code, clearly they've written like, have a moral compass or do the right thing.
Not in the code, in the training data.
In the training data.
Yeah.
And so it infers that to mean something. And the other thing that was front of mind is if you've ever built an app on something like Claude or any of the AI models, it builds the app in stages. And one of the things it does is it asks you permission if you're happy for it to make this change or to access this thing. I click allow. It just feels like such a fragile way to give permission.
Because you don't completely comprehend what that allow has done to your...
It's saying, can I go in your documents on your computer and can I do this thing? And you go, allow. But it's such a fragile way of giving an intelligent being, whatever it is, access and the right to build something. And I don't know, you just think about all the different companies around the world in China, Russia, North Korea that are currently building this technology without the constraints that are imposed by society. I don't know, it's an interesting, there's going to be some kind of catastrophe, I think.
Sadly, I agree.
And I think that's when people will go, okay.
Yeah, I wrote about that. I called it the mad map spectrum. So the mutually assured destruction, mutually assured prosperity spectrum. That humanity could make a decision today that says, with abundant intelligence, we can actually build a world where nobody needs anything, nobody ever gets sick, nobody abuses anyone, and we can. If we decide not to compete amongst ourselves and just, all of us get together to build something so idealistically for the well-being of humanity at large. But sadly, the only way we're going to get to a treaty, something that basically aligns us so that we can align with AI, is a disaster, like you said. There will have to be a big hack somewhere or a system that will do something really shocking or whatever before the world goes like, hold on. I will tell you openly, my expectation is one of the biggest things that will happen is this targeting technology that is being used against your enemy's leadership. Now, several times in the last 3 years, there will be a moment where the ones using it will realize that they too can be targeted.
So the man who helped build this is telling you the threat was never the machine, it was always the people holding it. And right now the people holding it are running 2 active wars with it, replacing entire workforce layers with it, and using it to monitor and target people with it. Mo is not asking you to panic, he is asking you to stop assuming that the people racing to deploy this have any interest in what happens to you on the other side. Because from where he's standing, having watched it be built from the inside, they never did. Subscribe if you want to keep up with where this is actually heading.